Welcome to another episode of Health Your Way podcast, where we discuss health issues ranging from physical, mental, emotional, as well as current facts. Today we're going to be talking about men's health and actually maximizing your well-being over the age of 40. And please allow me to introduce you, Kyle Murphy. I've kindly been stalking this man for a few months now, but the reason why I'm actually asking him to join is because he's over the age of 40, which I don't believe, but we know we'll humor him. And one of the reasons why is I feel like he represents what this topic is about. And before we go further, is there anything else you want to add to your impressive resume, or what you want about yourself that people should know?
Yeah, I've just been working out myself personally for over 20 years now, so it's over half my life.
Wow.
So yes, I am over 40. And I've turned that enthusiasm for fitness into more of a career now, where I'm really focused on keeping what I've built over the years and trying to stay healthy long term now.
I respect that, because I think that's a lot of people's mentality are changing towards that. And then again, back to the original conversation and topic is men over the age of 40. A lot of them, in your experience, when you talk to them and they're like, how do you do it? What are some of the excuses, or what are some of the challenges you hear from them when they talk about staying healthy over the age of 40 and beyond?
Yeah, I think the main ones are time.
Really?
And then, time, just don't have enough time to dedicate towards. It's not that there's actually the missing time. I think it's just not being in the mode of dedicating part of your life to keeping yourself healthy and
Sunday
fit.
nights when they're watching football?
But there's a priority there, right? It's true, and I'm not saying I don't watch sports and I don't have my downtime as well too, but there also has to be like mandatory times throughout your day where you're taking care of movement, and when you're looking at what you're eating for the day, and that's a huge one, is what you're putting in your body all the time. And again, I'm not perfect by any means, but I try to have that balance as much as I can.
I can respect that. And I think you mentioned something really important about priorities and time, right? So then, okay, they're looking at you like, so how do you make the time? How do you set priorities? Like, why, even then, before setting priorities, why should I even care about staying fit over the age of 40?
Or even now? No, that's a good question, actually. And I think it's becoming, for me, I like to look at longevity. I love longevity studies. I go through a lot of books as far as where we're going to be in the next 10, 20 years. And so I talk to my clients about this. And, for me, I want to be prepared for what's coming in the next 20 years or so. I'll be over 60 by then. But the advancements we're going to see in biology and the ability to live longer, well past 100, I want to be in a good enough shape where that's going to be something I can kind of jump on board with too.
I agree with you that, and I don't think I mentioned it. You are a certified personal trainer. You've been in part of the health industry over 20 years, and you have some background experience in respect to this and what we're talking about. So I know that a lot of them are like, all right, so now we're looking at time. Why should I even consider doing this, right? Yeah. And then I guess the question is, if they're looking at so now I hear what you're saying. How do I even get started? Like, how do you even change your mentality? Because if you're constantly doing something, it takes, everybody knows it takes 21 days to build a habit. Yes, and 90 days for a lifestyle.
Even longer. Even longer. Once you've reached that point of where you're happy with your results and your goals, then it takes another 90 days, like you're saying, of maintaining that before it really becomes a true lifestyle, and even longer than that for a lot of people. Right, so time is that big one, but then it's seeing some kind of results come through. And there's also a bit of I find with older guys as well too, a bit more of an ego even to step into a gym and admit that this is something that I need to do in order to live a better life.
Really?
Oh yeah. A lot of clients I find have that sort of hesitation at first, where like, oh, it's fitness, I don't need this, and you just got to find out what works for you first. Yes. And if it's not the gym, it's not the gym. If it means joining a league, a sport that you used to play with older guys.
I see a lot of new racketing.
Yeah, sure. Get moving. That's the number one thing. Once you're moving, hopefully you'll start to see the change in your energy and in the way that you're looking at your health, and that'll sort of spiral into maybe eating a little bit better or pursuing maybe more into the fitness at that point. But it's seeing some kind of result for the effort you're putting in that'll start to get things moving a little bit faster too.
Okay, then what happens because a lot of people, as human beings, we like to see results now.
We do, and that's a huge problem.
And if you spend the past 15 to 20 years doing absolutely nothing to see results
and to want it that fast, like everything comes at us so fast now. right? Everything is available. Like I can walk across the street and any type of food I wanted is there and ready to go.
I didn't realize, like, I don't think you notice it, but like everywhere you walk around,
it's always there's always something there. And that's one thing that I take as well too is I just kind of get into the mindset where that food for me is not there, right? Those stores are just not there.
I like that.
Right, so I do a lot of fasting. So
oh really?
Yeah, which helps me get through periods where right now I haven't eaten a single calorie today, and I'm doing it because
hold on. Don't copy this man, but that's for him. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not saying it for everyone to jump on board with it, but I definitely find it helps my lifestyle. It gives me more energy when I need it, especially when I'm talking with people or presenting. Really? I find fasting really helps me too. Yeah. And to stay further away from the food I really should be putting in there anyways.
So we're now. I like what you said about eating and making sure you eat the right foods. For a lot of people, even over the age of 40, even fitness is important, but what you eat is also important.
Super important.
And I think, as a father, like, you have to instill, like, your kids, they watch you. You resemble, like, you're copycat.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that, in your opinion, is it important to really start looking at your health because you want to give a lifestyle change to your kids?
Yeah, I think that, within a given bracket right now, we've all kind of grown up with the change in the way that food was prepared a while ago, years ago, 20, 30 years ago, compared to where it's been over this last 20, 30 years, and how much more preservatives are in a lot of the foods, how it's prepared, the availability of it, the palatability of it as well too, right? Things just taste a lot better, and that's the manufacturers making it like that.
And making it addictive.
So now we're starting, and I think as kids nowadays are growing up, we're starting to understand some of the damage that we've done over the last couple decades, and I think we're slowly progressing into being a little bit more aware. Like even some of the fast food chains are starting to try to introduce more healthier options, and I think that'll keep going. So, and that's like for everybody who's in that sort of 30, 40, 50, even 60-year-old bracket right now, we've kind of been soaking up a lot of this terrible choices, not knowing what is really doing to our body for such a period of time that hopefully the next generations will not have to go through that. But as a person who's in my 40s now, I have been subject to a lot of this crap.
Yes, thank you.
And so now it's time to like really start thinking about.
It's making me second guess my life stuff. Don't get me wrong, like I've been in the fitness industry for a while, but then you remember when you were young and you had all those burgers and fries and candies. Yeah, thank you for depressing me a bit, but I appreciate that.
It's a reality, right? It's a gap between, as I say, it's good to get into your fitness and to really take it seriously. You want to see where you are right now, and then where you want to go, and then that gap in between is the journey, and you got to figure out how to navigate that as best as you can. And at the end of the day, people are going to need help for sure, and that's where coaches come in. And
that was my next, again, so that makes it easier. If you're looking and you're saying, okay, I hear what you're saying, Paolo, I understand, and it's a lot of work. So how do I where do we start? Like some people may, again, it is expensive to get a personal coach, and so two questions. If I can't afford a personal trainer, how do I start? And if I can, should I be looking at credentials or just somebody from Instagram?
Credentials are pretty important. Definitely not. The Instagram route is very diluted, so it's hard to see what is what there. Okay. A lot of people just really need that one-to-one attention. My clients see me 2 to 3 times a week, and a lot of what we do is communication and just seeing how their days are and seeing what we can do to change a little bit.
I get that.
Because you're not willing to change what you're doing outside the gym. What you're doing inside the gym is not really going to be effective anyways, right? And there's far more hours that you're on your own than being with your trainer too.
It's true.
So develop that plan and try to come up with little bits that you can do along the way where it's not like a 180 overnight, but slowly making little changes here or there.
I like that because I think a lot of people that are afraid to get a personal trainer, they assume that they're just gonna wear them out, like they're gonna almost like a boot camp, like it's just gonna be. And you want someone, because it's just a huge transition. A lot of people don't realize there's some physical issues, mental issues, and I'm thinking what you're saying is like if you get a personal trainer, you want someone that's gonna address your overall, like in a holistic way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, especially in this day and age, you really want to have someone who's going to see things that way. And on top of, the motivation that you're going to need from them, and
beat your ass up nicely.
Yeah, there's points where you need to do that as well too.
Nicely. And then I guess if somebody's hearing what you're saying, they're like, okay, Kyle, you make sense. How can they reach out to you? Like, are you accessible on Instagram, or you work somewhere? Educate us.
I mean, I am about to take over the nicest, biggest club Good Life has in the country.
Nice.
I'm currently hiring an entire personal training team for that myself.
Wow.
So I'd like to pass on the way that I think to those trainers as well, so that we're all sort of on the same page as far as like what we really want to focus on for people. I definitely want to hit people's goals, but I also want to keep it in sort of the health and fitness or health range as well too. As we get into, I know you power lift quite a bit. And you lift a lot of weight. It's really impressive what I've seen on Instagram from you. You're a very strong person. And I've
not everybody should be doing that. Please.
No, exactly, and that's the thing. It's like football players. Those are healthy guys, right? They're strong. They probably have a high level of nutrition coming in. They have coaches. They have a team of people helping them out. But at the end of the day, is a football player the idea of health?
No.
Right? So is a power lifter really the idea of, is a bodybuilder, right? So all these areas are just outside of what health and fitness really is. So some people want to go into those areas, which is totally fine. And having a coach and a trainer to guide you that direction too is super important. But it shouldn't be the primary focus right away, right?
No,
we want to focus on like what is actually going to make your life better and keep it that way, as long as possible.
I'm honestly, I agree with you, because I find when I even talk to my clients or people, I'm like, I'm not the typical person, like, this is for me, that makes me happy. You have to find your own health. Like, the gym may not be for you.
Yeah.
It may be like a starting point,
yeah.
But when it comes down to it, this is not consistent for you. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that concept, or that comment you made. And we know how to reach him. And I guess you also explained why we should reach out to you, because of your thought process.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, or if you would like Kyle to come back, or if you want to find him, we know where he is now.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add towards the end that you feel is important?
Just that it, like I said, that whole definition of having that gap, right? It's about the journey. If you're so focused on that end result, the goal of losing 20, 30, 40 pounds, or, having that beach body that you want, and you want it, now, or you're going to miss the whole point of the whole journey, right?
Because you grow within that journey.
Right, you grow within that journey. If we could just have that end result right away, you're going to wind up right back where you were, or further behind, sooner than you think.
I appreciate that. And thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today on our weekly episode of Health Your Way podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and please feel free to comment below and ask any questions on topics we discussed, as well as future topics you'd like to hear about. Have a happy and healthy week, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode on our Health Your Way podcast.